welcome to the Year 8 lesson for division using an algorithm. In this lesson I'm learning to use an algorithm to solve division problems with remainders using an algorithm. Now before you start this lesson you should be really familiar with the Year 7 lessons for division. Let's try this question here. 124 divided by 3. So I start by setting that out as an algorithm, just like we did in the Year 7 example, so remember that means divided by 124. So I start just like I did in the Year 7 lesson. I say, how many times does 3 go into 1? Well, 3 won't go into 1, so I'm going to leave a space here. And now I say, how many times will 3 go into 12? Well, I know 3 will go into 12 4 times. So now I move over to my ones column and I say, how many times will 3 go into 4? Well, 3 will go into 4 once, but I'll have one remainder, so I write that remainder here. So 124 divided by 3 is 41, remainder 1. Let's try another question. We'll do 182 divided by 4. So I start the same way. How many times does 4 go into 1? It doesn't, so I leave that space. And now I ask myself, how many times does 4 go into 18? Now I know 4 doesn't go into 18 evenly, but I do know that 4 goes into 16. 4 times 4 is 16. So it's 4 with 2 remainders. And I write the 2 remainders over here. And now I say to myself, how many times will 4 go into 22? Well, 4 won't go into 22 evenly, so I think what number will 4 go into that is very close to 22, just underneath it? Well, I know 4 will go into 25 times, which will mean I've got 2 remainders, and I write those remainders up here. So 182 divided by 4 is 45, remainder 2. Let's try one last question. This time I've got 925, and I want to divide that into 3 groups. So I say to myself, how many times does 3 go into 9? Well, 3 will go into 9 3 times. So now I move over to my tens column and I say, how many times will 3 go into 2? Well, 3 won't go into 2, so I have to put a placeholder here. I put 0. Now I move over to my ones column and I say, how many times will 3 go into 25? And I know that 3 won't go into 25 an even amount of times, so I'm thinking of a number which is just below 25, but which is on my 3 times tables. So the number I'm thinking of is 24. I know 3 will go into 24 8 times, and then I'll have one remainder. So 925 divided by 3 is 308, remainder 1. Let's have a think about the important things to remember in this lesson. Well, this lesson is really exactly the same as the Year 7 lesson using an algorithm, except that this time we've got some remainders. And we get these remainders when the amount that we've got can't be shared out evenly between the divisor. You can find the activity sheet that goes with this lesson in the Teacher Tools Multiplication and Division book from the White Book collection.